The end of Demi Moore's darkest chapter came after the most talked about relationship in Hollywood. Now that she's 62, she's finally breaking her silence. The public didn't know about the loss. She feels bad about the threesomes she had and the drug abuse that almost killed her. What really happened between Demi and Ashton? Moore was born in Roswell, New Mexico, on November 11, 1962. From the start, her life was hard. Her father had already left before she was born, and it was hard for her mother to care for her. Things got even worse when Demi was only 15 and was betrayed in a terrible way. In her autobiography, she wrote about how her mother let an older guy hurt her for $500. The hurt she felt was very deep and stayed with her for years. Her family life was a mess. Her parents both drank a lot, and the family moved around a lot. Demi lost her balance more than 30 times before she turned 14. She never felt safe or stable. She did something that no child should do when she was only 12 years old. She attempted to end her own life. With her little hands, Demi had to pull pills out of her mom's mouth while her stepdad held her down. Suddenly, she had to grow up way too quickly. Demi's school wasn't any better either. She had dyslexia and had to have surgery on both eyes because of a health problem. When she was 16, she quit school and moved out on her own. She had many jobs to make money, such as modeling and collecting debts. She married rock singer Freddie Moore when she was 17. She wanted to leave her troubled past behind. However, they were married for only 4 years. Demi wouldn't give up, no matter what. She worked hard because she wanted a better future. This was Demi's first big chance when she was 19. She was cast as a reporter named Jackie Templeton on the soap show General Hospital. It took more than 1,000 women to get the part. Demi stood out, though. It only paid her $750 per show. On the other hand, this part was the start of something bigger. At the time, Jackie, her character, was strong and driven, which wasn't often seen in TV women. Audiences and producers were both pleased by Demi's performance. Demi had a big problem outside of acting. She was having a hard time with addiction. She drank a lot and often partied for days. Joel Schumacher, her director, saw how good she could be and hired her. He set up someone to be with her all the time while she filmed her next big movie, St. Elmo's Fire, which helped her stay clean. This help made a difference in her life. The movie Demi starred in, St. Elmo's Fire, was a huge hit in 1985. It was about a group of friends figuring out how to be adults, and it had bright stars like Rob Lowe and Emilio Estevez in it. Some of Demi's real-life problems were reflected in the role of Jules, a party girl who had her own problems. Finding the part wasn't simple, though. She was given a choice by Joel Schumacher: get straight or lose the part. Demi decided to give up her drug use, and she was successful. Someone was even paid by the company to stay with her during filming to make sure she didn't get off track. The movie added Demi to the Brat Pack, teenagers who were becoming big stars in the 1980s. That phrase made the players famous and got a lot of attention, even though they didn't like it. A great performance by Demi in St. Elmo's Fire led to more opportunities for her. She quickly became one of the biggest names in Hollywood after starring in movies like Ghost and About Last Night. The Bratz Pack is still talked about after all these years. Bratz is a video that came out in 2024. Demi and her co-stars talked about that time in their lives. There are even rumors of a follow-up to St. Elmo's Fire, where the original group, including Demi, might get back together. In 1990, the movie Ghost made Demi Moore a big star. The movie made $505.7 million around the world, even though it only cost $22 to $23 million to make. It made more money than any other movie that year and, at the time, any movie ever. As a result, it was the most rented movie in the US in 1991. In Ghost, Moore played Molly Jensen, and people were truly moved by her performance. It became famous. The scene with Patrick Swayze and the pottery will set to Unchained Melody is still thought of as one of the most famous movie moments ever. After she wore a short haircut in the movie, women all over the world copied the style. Moore was personally affected by the movie's success. Ghost was the biggest movie of the weekend, but Bruce Willis's movie Die Hard 2 was also a big hit. Their movies were once the two most popular movies in cinemas at the same time. It wasn't until 34 years later that this happened to another married Hollywood pair. Because Ghost did so well, Moore was nominated for a Golden Globe and won a Saturn Award for Best Actress. This shows how much fans and experts liked her work. There was more to the movie than just love. It was different for Hollywood because it had romance, comedy, and supernatural parts all at the same time. With its huge success, it showed that movies with original ideas could still be big hits. This made filmmakers want to try telling stories in new ways in the years that followed, even after Ghost, or kept doing great work in lead parts. A Few Good Men came out in 1992, starring her, Tom Cruise, and Jack Nicholson. Over $243 million was made around the world, and Moore played Lieutenant Commander Joan Galloway, proving that she could handle herself in a serious movie controlled by men. Moore was in the 1993 movie Indecent Proposal, which made almost $267 million at the box office despite costing only $38 million to make. The movie raised an interesting point. If someone offered her $1 million to sleep with a stranger, would she do it? Moore was Diana Murphy, and her role caused a lot of discussion about right and wrong in relationships. But people didn't like the part either. Feminists said the movie treated women like things. After the fact, she said that the reaction she got during this time was one of the hardest times in her career. Even so, she kept taking on risky parts because she saw them as a way to fight against what society thinks women should be like. In the mid-1990s, Moore made two movies that caused a lot of trouble, which was an even bigger risk for his career. In the 1996 movie Striptease, she played a stripper. People were very interested in the movie because of its risky subject and Moore's bare scenes. She was the best-paid actress in Hollywood at the time, getting $12.5 million for the part. This was followed by Moore's role in G.I. High, Jane. In this movie, she played the first woman to work as a Navy SEAL. As part of her training for the part, Moore shaved her head on camera and did a lot of her own moves. Her workouts were also tough, getting stronger and cutting her body fat down to just 10%. Moore's two parts showed two different sides of him. She loved being a woman and a sexual being in Striptease. In G.I. Jane, she played a tough, manly character. This made people argue about the roles of men and women in Hollywood. Moore thought about this and said that she felt bad when she played a stripper and bad when she played a soldier. Moore became an even bigger star after these movies, even though they caused a lot of trouble. But the harsh comments and close attention from the public hurt her a lot. Moore wrote in her 2019 book that this time was the start of a hard time in her personal life, when she had problems with drugs and her body image. When Demi Moore married singer Freddie Moore when she was only 17, her life changed in a big way. It took place on February 8, 1980. The couple got married not out of love. The main reason was to get away from the pain of losing her dad. She wrote about this in her autobiography, Inside Out, many years later. In fact, she wasn't excited or happy the night before the wedding. Instead, she was talking on the phone with a man she met on a movie set. It looked like the marriage wasn't going to work even before it began. Freddie's last name became her stage name, what she did for the rest of her work. Even while they were married, they worked on songs together. One of them, It's Not a Rumor, was a small hit, but it was hard to be together. Demi was barely 18 years old when she got into a serious relationship with an older man. Later, she said that she broke up the marriage because she knew inside that it wasn't right. It finished in 1985, but it changed the way she thought about love and herself for a long time. Nevertheless, Demi's relationship with Bruce Willis began like a scene from a movie. In 1987, they met at a premiere. At the time, Demi was engaged to Emilio Estevez, another actress. There was no denying the spark between Demi and Bruce. For months later, Bruce asked her to marry him while they were at a boxing match in Las Vegas. The wedding took place right then and there on November 21st. 1991. Though it was hasty, it worked for a while. They were one of the most popular couples in Hollywood. Bruce became a big star with Die Hard, and Demi was making a lot of money and becoming one of the best-paid actors of all time. They were married and had 3 children. Tallulah was born in 1994, Scout in 1991, and Rumor in 1988. Their jobs kept them apart a lot, though, and they had different ideas about what a family should be like. Bruce told Demi that she should spend more time at home, but she was breaking records by making $12.5 million for Striptease and didn't seem to be slowing down. There were problems, but they were able to stay close for a long time. They were in the movie Mortal Thoughts together. After 11 years of marriage, they chose to split up in 1998. Their split was surprisingly calm, unlike many in Hollywood. They remained friends. They shared parenting of their children and even went to each other's weddings later on. Their mixed-race family showed that divorced people can still help each other. During all of this, Demi's biggest problem was juggling her job and being a mom. In 1988, she didn't slow down when there was a claim. In 1991, she was on the cover of Vanity Fair while she was pregnant with Scout and posed naked. This picture became famous, inspiring others by showing that being a mom doesn't mean hiding or feeling bad about your body. Making her job fit with her family life took a lot of work. Backstage at G.I. Jane, she constructed a bedroom for her little girl. There was a time when she felt bad for not being there enough, no matter how much she did. After she broke up with Bruce, she made the big choice to leave Hollywood and move to Idaho. She wanted the attention to stay off of her daughters' lives so they could live normal lives, even if it meant taking a break from her job. Being a mom was the most important thing to her, and this choice showed it. Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore met at the New York opening of Charlie's Angels in 2003. Demi was 40 years old and Ashton was 25 years old. There was a 15-year age difference between them, but they felt right away connected. Demi liked Ashton's good looks and sense of fun. They talked on the phone for 8 hours about their hopes and dreams just one day after meeting. They had a deep talk that set the tone for their fast-paced relationship. She had met Demi's children and her ex-husband, Bruce Willis, just 3 weeks after they met. As a bold and unexpected move, Ashton asked Demi to marry him after only 2 months of dating. With rose petals, he wrote, "Marry me," on a picnic blanket on the beach in Santa Barbara at midnight. It was a $250,000 Asher-cut diamond that was set in a 5-carat band. By the 4th month, they had moved in together and even started Catalyst Films, a company that makes movies. The success of their first movie, Beauty and the Geek, made them a Hollywood power couple. But they had to deal with a sad problem in their relationship. 6 months into her pregnancy, Demi had a miscarriage. They were devastated by the loss, but they got help from grief therapy 3 times a week for months. In the end, Ashton said that tragedy made him realize he was ready to be a dad, which made their bond even stronger. The media was very interested in their 15-year age difference, which became a big topic of conversation. It was a big deal when they first appeared together at the Charlie's Angels opening. At the event, there were more than 200 cameras, and some even offered $100,000 for a picture of them kissing. Talk shows and late-night comedians made fun of their relationship all the time, and the word cougar caught on, with Demi often being called its poster child. Demi and Ashton were funny when people made fun of them. Demi wore old-age makeup in a 2005 Saturday Night Live sketch that made fun of the attention on their age difference. In September 2005, Demi and Ashton got married at their home in Beverly Hills. Bruce Willis was one of the 100 guests. Clinton wore a Lanvin dress, and Demi wore a Brooks Brothers suit in cream. As a sign of their spiritual views, they said their vows under a Kabbalah chuppah. When Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah, Demi's daughters, read emotional letters to Ashton, it was a touching moment. He then gave each girl a Cartier love bracelet to show his love for their family. It was said that the ritual made Bruce Willis cry. After getting married, Demi and Ashton loved having a mixed family. When they bought a house in Idaho, they took family trips and had themed parties there. They often spent time with Bruce Willis, got along well as co-parents, and even went on vacation as a big family. Bruce told Ashton how great he was and said that his daughters had only told a few guys, "I love you." It was important for Ashton to be a stepfather to Demi's children. He took on the job of raising 3 girls, ages 17, 14, and 11, when he was only 27 years old. It was easy for him to play the part, going to their school events, shows, and even teaching them how to French braid their hair. According to Ashton, who said that love doesn't get split up, it grows, he took parenting classes to better understand his job. He backed the girl's hobbies by making her movie, The Whole 10 Yards, and helping her set up her first Twitter account. Scout said he made her love technology grow, which is what led her to study computer science. But things weren't always simple. After the fact, Tallulah wrote that Ashton's appearance at first confused her because she wasn't sure how to accept him as a father. There was even talk that she had a crush on Ashton before he started dating her mom, which made their relationship more complicated. Even though these things happened, Ashton stayed close to the kids after he and Demi broke up. He openly backed Rumor during her Dancing with the Stars performances and was happy for her, when she told everyone she was pregnant years later. That's how committed Ashton was to the family he helped build when he said in 2020 that he would always love and cheer for them. The news that Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher were going to have a child made them very happy. Moore was 6 months pregnant and 41 years old when their happiness turned to sadness during a regular checkup on September 23, 2003. They learned that Chaplain Ray, their baby girl, did not have a heartbeat. Moore had been clean for almost 20 years before this crushing loss. She thought it was her fault because she drank and smoked a little while she was pregnant. Moore felt a lot of distress. As a way to deal with her pain, she started drinking and taking drugs like Vicodin. To just 98 pounds, her weight dropped too low and became dangerous. They tried IVF and everything else to have another child, but nothing worked. I felt even more depressed. In 2019, she talked about how she felt lost and empty during this time and didn't know how to deal with it. Their marriage was also hurt by the death. Kutcher did not fully understand how much more hurt. She wrote in her autobiography that he tried to help her but couldn't understand how she felt. The mental distance between them grew and began to hurt their relationship. They did strange things in a last-ditch effort to save their marriage. Moore wrote in her autobiography that they had threesomes because Kutcher asked for them. She did what he asked because she wanted to make him happy, but it made her feel bad. They were confused about their friendship. They also looked to faith for help. They went to the Los Angeles Kabbalah Center and even took a spiritual retreat in Israel. Not a single thing worked. The stress of wanting to have a child, Moore's drug problems, and the age difference between them made things worse. It got worse when rumors spread that Kutcher was cheating on his wife. Kutcher is said to have spent the night with Sarah Leal, 22, on their 6th wedding anniversary, September 24, 2011. Leal gave Kutcher her phone number in front of Moore and her daughter at a bowling hall, where Moore had seen Leal before. The affair was revealed to Moore by a Google alert on her phone as she was getting ready for a red carpet event. Kutcher admitted it when she told him about it. Moore stated that she was startled and unable to breathe. He had cheated on her before, she found out later. A woman named Brittany Jones, who is 21 years old. To make things even worse, Kutcher tried to defend what he did by saying that their threesomes had made their relationship less clear. Moore's pain got worse because of this. The cheating was found out, which made things even worse for Moore. They showed up together at an event for their fund against human trafficking just a few days after the scandal broke. Moore had to talk while Kutcher was talking. She felt ashamed even though she knew what he had done. Moore revealed that they were splitting up on November 17, 2011. She said she had to make the hard but important choice because she wanted to stay true to her values. Divorce took almost 2 years to finalize. She filed for divorce in December 2012, and the divorce was completed in November 2013. Later, Moore said that the end of their marriage was like a bad dream and hurt her self-esteem a lot. Kutcher said in an interview in 2023 that his breakup made him feel like he had failed. They both had a hard time getting better because so much of their pain was shown to everyone. After her split from Ashton Kutcher, Demi Moore's life began to fall apart. She had not used drugs or alcohol in almost 20 years, but things changed, and she started using again. Getting hooked on. Bad things happened when Demi had a seizure at her house party in Benedict Canyon on January 23, 2012. The drugs she was using were synthetic cannabis and nitrous gas. Someone called 911 and said she was shaking and only partially aware. That scary moment marked the start of a very bad time for Demi. Things got worse for her over the next 3 years. A lot of Vicodin pills and Red Bull mixed with vodka became a daily habit for her. She also couldn't stop thinking about her body. She would look at herself in the mirror for hours and tell herself she needed to lose weight. The worst thing about her health was that she lost all of her weight and was only 102 pounds. She had seizures because she was stressed, tired, and hadn't eaten enough. She barely held on. Demi felt very alone during this time. This person stayed away from her family and friends and spent most of her time by herself. She didn't show up for other big family events and missed her daughter Rumer's 30th birthday. Demi finally went to rehab in September 2012 at Cirque Lodge, a high-end center in Utah. It cost a lot of money every month, but she had to do it to start getting better. Not only did Demi's addiction hurt her, but it also hurt her relationships with her 3 children, Rumer, Scout, and Tallulah. It got so bad that Demi and her children didn't talk to each other for 3 years. At the time, Tallulah, who was only 25, talked about how scary it was. According to her, her mom changed into a monster. She recalled being worried every time Demi's behavior changed, like when her speech slowed down or she became too close. Tallulah even got a food disorder and had problems with how she looked because of the stress. The 31-year-old rumor was mad and sad. She said it hurt like her mom's drug use had taken something important away from her. Also, she talked about the scary time she had to call 911 to save her mom's life. Scout, who was 28 years old, thought her mom didn't love her and felt abandoned. In 2012, the three sisters stopped all communication with Demi. Demi missed important events in their lives, like rumors turn on Dancing with the Stars in 2015, and they didn't even go to her 50th birthday party. They didn't get along for years, but on November 12, 2015, things began to change. The youngest, Tallulah, had just left rehab after having problems with drugs and an eating disorder. She was brave enough to call her mom. It had been almost 3 years since they last saw each other. Dimitri didn't wait around. She dropped everything and flew to New York to see her daughter right away. It wasn't easy to fix their relationship. A 2019 episode of Red Table Talk showed the family talking about how hard things had been. Tallulah told them she felt alone. She used to have panic attacks when she thought about running into her mom, rumor has it. Scout told him that she was mad and hateful. Demi took full responsibility and admitted that her drug problems had caused a lot of pain for her family. She tried really hard to make things better. For 18 months, she went to therapy and family counseling. In 2017, they made a big step forward when they went to a retreat in Arizona for a week. They did workouts and meditated together to get better. Their relationship is much better now. They help each other on social media and even work on projects together as a family. When Demi turned 60 in 2022, her daughters shocked her by getting matching tattoos of her writing the word mother. Wonderful way to exhibit how near they've grown. Even after they broke up in 2000, Demi kept close to Bruce Willis. Through their split, they've shown that families can still stay together. Demi was one of the first people to share the news that Bruce had aphasia with her family in 2022. She also showed her support. Ever since, she's been there for him and spent time with Bruce and Emma Hemming Willis, his wife. They celebrated Bruce's 68th birthday together in 2023. It was so cute that she even put up a video of everyone singing happy birthday together. Many people saw it, and it showed how close they are still. For example, in 2019, Demi went to Bruce's Comedy Central roast and joked about their old relationship. According to her, people loved seeing how funny people could be about their past. Also, they've been there for each other's new relationships. In 2009, Demi went to Bruce's wedding to Emma, and in 2005, Bruce went to Demi's wedding to Ashton Kutcher. Their children liked that their parents were polite and caring. It was said that having parents who are split but still love each other is the best example of love she could have asked for. At 62, Demi's whole view on love has changed. She told Vogue on her birthday in 2024 that she discovered the most important relationship is the one she has with herself. She's happy being herself and doesn't need anyone else to make her whole. She even came up with a word to describe her new way of life: solo partnering. It means she is putting her attention on her own happiness and growth. She doesn't want a boyfriend or girlfriend, but she's ready for love if it comes her way. This idea got so famous that right after the interview, the hashtag solo partnering was all over the internet. Demi has also changed how she dates now. Just 3 dates in the past year, and they were all very well picked out. A cosmologist she met at a TED Talk was one of them. They went to the Mojave Desert to look at the stars. Though Demi said it wasn't sweet, she'll always remember it because it was so important to her. It's a surprise that Demi has also become friends with Ashton Kutcher's wife, Mila Kunis. So much so that they formed a book club, each other every 2 weeks to talk about life and books. Demi has grown up and become more adult, which fans love. The singer hasn't ruled out love in the future, but she knows what she wants now. If she does fall in love with someone, it will be someone who makes her life better, not someone she thinks she needs to be whole. For sure, they have to love her dog, P. Feeling Love, whom more than 2 million people follow on Instagram.